In this tutorial, you'll learn how to fold the closed double open hybrid square twist, which has this very interesting kind of key-shaped hole on the back. So this tutorial is part of the Summer of Twist series, which means that I've already released tutorials for the closed and the double open portions of this hybrid square twist, and those videos are available for you to practice now. It also means that you can get email reminders for working through all 30 twists in the series if you go to training.gatheringfolds.com/summer, no matter when you sign up, whether those videos have been released already or not. So let's dive in to folding this twist. We're going to do the folding first, no pre-creasing needed, and then look at the crease pattern, both front and back, before talking about how you can learn more about this twist and practice it in a larger pattern. I'm using an 8-fold square grid, so 8 divisions, top to bottom and left to right. And I'm going to first draw one line straight through the center. I'm choosing to draw that line horizontally, and this is my center point. And then I'm going to draw a line one spacing to the left and up, and another line one spacing to the right of that center and down. From here, I can assign the valley folds. I'm going to be twisting around. And by the way, those red lines are going to be mountain folds. And so we can see that the same thing is happening on either side with respect to the pleats. But like we saw, the same thing is not going to be happening on either side with respect to the folded form. And we actually have an arbitrary decision of which side is going to be which. So I'm going to start bringing up my mountain folds and my valley folds, and I'm noticing that I have these kind of identical, symmetrical little bits on either side, and I kind of molded them a little bit so they're easier to see that they're identical. And I'm going to arbitrarily choose this left bit instead of the right bit to squash flat because I can see it better from my perspective. So I'm going to take this edge between the intersection of the valley and mountain on this direction and the valley and mountain on the next direction. And I'm going to make that a diagonal fold. I'm also going to make a diagonal fold. So that's my first diagonal fold. My second diagonal fold is going up and hitting the next valley. So those are my two new folds. And I do recommend using a bone folder to smooth things out. And now it comes time to squash the rest, which, if I let this valley continue to hit right here, is not going to be very easy to lay anything down flat. So I'm going to let that valley recede. I'm going to back it up. And actually, the valley doesn't continue past the point of my second diagonal. Instead, I'm going to get a new diagonal valley coming out along here. And I can choose to go ahead and emphasize that or not. I like to emphasize it a little bit, but not use a bone folder on it or anything, because the angle then between that fold and my next mountain fold above is quite small. So I want to slightly emphasize that valley in there, and then allow my twist to flatten out. I've got this open right triangle shape on top. I'm letting that squash flat, making sure that my corners are all three on grid intersections. And this is something that, like, if it is squashed flat, the paper will do that for you. But you just want to make sure that you're not pulling too much in one direction or the other and not allowing the paper to squash flat. So that is our closed double open hybrid square twist. Let's open it up and see what folds we added. So we have some extensions of mountain folds into the center of the twist that get erased, an extension of a valley fold that also gets erased, and we have a new valley fold on a grid line that comes across this closed, like half a closed square diagonal. So this is very similar to the closed open hybrid square twist or the closed open hybrid rhombus twist, in that you make one triangle and then the smaller one gets closed by a valley, and the bigger one, the second triangle, gets closed by a mountain. So our new mountain folds are on the two diagonals of this closed square, the two edges of our double open square, and this long diagonal closing the big triangle, which is the same as an open right triangle of that double open square. So how did I know that this was going to be a closed double open hybrid? Well, in one direction, my mountain fold continued through on the same grid line. That's characteristic of a closed twist. In the other direction, my mountain folds were 2 spaces apart. That is a characteristic of the double open square. And so we're combining these characteristics and getting half of one, half of the other, and getting our new twist as a result. So on the flip side, because we do want to be able to recognize these twists from either side of the paper, we have those 2 new mountain folds. Well, one of them is on a grid line, the other one is a diagonal of the grid. We've got our new valley folds that are corresponding to our 2 different sizes of squares. And we have our pleats entering the twist with both mountain and valley folds for each pleat. So this is how you can recognize the closed double open hybrid square twist. And if you're looking and trying to distinguish between a closed open and a closed double open, the 2 things to look for is whether the bigger triangle has edges like a double open or a single open square, aka does this cut across 3 grid squares like it does here, or only 2? And in the direction that's offset, how many spaces are those closest folds of those 2 pleats offset? In this case, it's 2 spaces. In the closed open hybrid square twist case, it's 1 space. And if we have all this creased already, we can fold it up from this side, but when we're folding from the grid directly, we really do want to fold from this side where the bigger triangle, bigger half square, is outlined entirely in mountain folds. So if you'd like to use this twist in a repeating pattern, check out this longer twist tutorial or longer tutorial for all the details of how to do that. And I encourage you to check out the rest of the Summer of Twist series. I also have the Summer of Twist ebook, which has the crease pattern for that longer tutorial and another challenge crease pattern that I actually designed specifically for Summer of Twists. So happy folding, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.